Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly interview show where I learn a little bit more about somebody else's perspective on movies. And joining me is a very talented person who I've gotten a chance to interview once before in the past for one of her projects, and it's Annie Marchenko. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello, Shane. I'm really happy to see you again since like 2019, I believe 20. Yeah.
It's probably been that long. It's been quite a few years at this point, but I really
Hope
appreciate
I
you
didn't
taking.
get old or anything.
I know I have quite a few more grays at this point than the last time we
Oh.
recorded, so all good. But I really appreciate you coming on. And before we jump into the questions, would you like to anybody about any like social media you want people to follow you at, or any projects that you have going on right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is welcome to follow my page on Instagram, which is uh Anechka. How do you say that slash down slash? How do you say that?
Uh,
Bottom.
it's a underscore, I think, like
Underscore,
that little. Yeah,
underscore. Sorry, everyone. I'm from Russia. My English is not so good.
it's all
I speak
good.
Chinese and Japanese though. Okay, underscore Annie.
Mhm.
You can find me there. And you can follow my projects there, my new music. I'm planning to release a new song soon. And also,
Awesome.
please follow my charity organization. I found it like about a year ago, which calls With Love Organization. We're doing some projects in Taiwan and in Nepal. And if you want to join me on my next journey to Nepal, I just back from there like a few days ago. We built a playground there. It was wonderful. It was supported by the first president of Nepal. So I'm pretty cool person, okay? Respectful
Nice.
to me. Yeah, it was really wonderful. Like I wish my organization will grow bigger and bigger and we can help more people, maybe outside of Taiwan, outside of Nepal. We can go to Myanmar, we can go to a lot of different places. So please join me, support me, and please check it out. Check out our works. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'll put any links in the
Yeah,
description on the
please.
video.
Thank
So
you. Thank you so much.
absolutely. So everybody can check out the great work that Andy's
Yeah.
doing. So,
Thank you.
well, let's get into our questions, which this is
Yep.
always a fun one, putting people on the spot. But Andy, what's your favorite film?
My favorite film is probably pretty, obvious and cute. A lot of girls
Hmm.
like the film, but I specifically like it. I will tell you why later. But my favorite movie is Notting Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I love it for so many years. It's pretty
mhm.
old movie. I mean, for me, I'm very young. And then for this movie, I especially went to London. You know how hard is it for me to get visa to London, being a Russian person holding a Russian passport. So I still went there and I went to Notting Hill. I went to all the streets they were filming there because I'm like really a big fan of the movie.
So that like classic like 90s into early 2000s
Yeah, it's
British
so
rom-coms.
beautiful film. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like an old person saying that, but I want to say they don't make movies like that anymore.
They certainly
Yeah.
don't make rom-coms like they used to.
Like they're
It,
really nice rom-coms, like smart
mhm.
rom-coms, where every scene you just feel like, oh, I can see like why the music came in, what the color changes, the costumes, the everything. Now it's just like, okay, you watch like first 5 minutes, you know what's gonna happen, who the girl gonna end up with, and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Same film over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
it I'm definitely a huge Hugh Grant fan, and it's been
Yeah.
interesting seeing what he's been doing lately, which is very different than all those rom-coms that he used to do. But
Mm.
I know I'm a huge fan of like Four Weddings and a Funeral
Mm.
and his work in the 90s. So now, Annie,
Yeah.
what's your earliest memory of going to the movies?
Going to the movies. I was thinking about this question. I don't have any memories about going to the movies until I went to college, probably. And then I
Okay.
went to college, and obviously I got a boyfriend, and we were going to movies. But before that,
Mhm.
I don't even remember if I ever been to the movie. I probably been to in childhood, but I don't really
Mhm.
remember. Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
I know for me, going to off to college was definitely a big moment of like kind of going from
Yeah.
just watch movies for fun and then like getting super into movies. So it's a good time to jump into a lot of films. So that's
Yeah.
understandable. Now, Annie, do you have a particular favorite genre of movies?
Yeah, of course. It's definitely rom-coms because,
Okay.
I'm a girl, it's so easy to watch and it's so comforting and stuff. But also I like this kind of psychological thrillers where
Okay.
like, Yeah, but I like more realistic ones. I'm not so into Harry Potter or like Game of Thrones. It's like with
Mhm,
something unrealistic or fantasy, I don't really like. I like movies I can connect to. I can feel like, oh my
mhm.
God, this girl has the same problem as me, or something like, oh,
Yeah.
what's going on in their relationship, this kind of stuff. So yeah, I have Netflix. All the documentaries, all mine.
There you go. I know romantic comedies are always like that kind of like comforting kind of
Yeah,
experience, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
be positive about love and stuff like that. And I can definitely understand the psychological thrillers where it's just like, well, this could possibly happen to me and I don't like that. But
Yeah,
it
I
that's what builds
know.
the tension and everything and getting underneath your skin. So
I know. I also like psychology too. It's really, I
mhm,
like to see how people overcome in some situations in their lives, some dramas. I really like to see how different people will behave in different situations.
mhm,
So that's why.
absolutely. Now, who's your favorite filmmaker?
Filmmaker. As a Taiwanese now, as I got Taiwanese passport, I probably need to
Mhm.
say Li An, right? You know him? He made The
Mhm.
Life of Pi, so he's
Yeah.
amazing. He's like the best filmmaker in Taiwan, probably at the moment. And I'm not gonna say all these kind of obvious ones like Tarantino and stuff.
Mhm.
Probably the one who made The Age of Adeline, Lee
Okay.
Toland Krieger.
Okay.
Yeah, if you know him, yeah, because I really like the movie. I feel it's really beautifully made. I watched
Mhm.
it like so many times because I like to see. I like the movies which I like. You're already in the cinema, you're watching it, and you just feel like
Yeah.
I'm going to go back home and watch it again because you want to see some details, and you will
Mhm.
stop. Especially, I know when I like the film, when I stop in the middle, I'll be like, okay, like go back and
Yeah.
then watch it again the scene. Yeah, and this is exactly the movie. And then probably the one who made A Simple Favor. Who was that? It's
Okay.
the
Fig.
Paul Fig. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think yeah he did the movie. Is really nice too. It's pretty, playing with your mind, and I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love the movie
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, Ang Lee definitely has such an interesting and
Yeah,
diverse filmography too, because he's just made so many different kinds of films, really knows how to bring a lot out of his stories and make something beautiful with it. I remember when Age of Adeline came out, and I distinctly remember because I saw an interview with the actor who plays like younger Harrison Ford and does
yeah.
like the whole impression like he could mimic Harrison Ford really well. I saw an interview with him. But yeah, Paul Feig has made a lot of fun films in the past and Simple Favor, that was definitely a really surprising film. And when I went
Very
to go see
surprising.
that,
I was super shocked. I was like,
yeah,
whoa. Yeah.
and it's just like that kind of like fun uh thriller mystery kind of thing all wrapped up in one. And I'm a huge Anna Kendrick fan, so I was excited to see that. And then Blake Lively killed it. She was
Oh,
fantastic.
Blake Lively, like she's one of my most favorite actresses. I think she got so many great opportunities in so many amazing movies. Oh
Mhm.
my God, she's the luckiest girl in the world. And her husband, of course, let's don't forget that. Yeah, but yeah, most of her roles I really like.
Absolutely. And that I think that's a nice segue into my next question. But who are some of your favorite actors and actresses?
Yeah, it's definitely for actresses, definitely Julia Roberts, right?
Okay.
It's like
Hmm.
undeniable, she's a legend. And then Blake Lively, she's my favorite too. But I think Julia Roberts, although she played in all the movies I like I don't know, the for example Notting Hill and the what's the I don't know how to say it. What's the movie called in English? Beauty about the when she's with the
So
when she was a prostitute. What's that?
pretty woman.
Pretty Woman, yeah, Pretty Woman, of course. But I think for her, it's like she made the role different. But Blake
Hmm.
Lively, I think she had a chance to get a beautiful role.
Hmm.
There's the difference between them.
Yeah, I think that's a that role in A Simple Favor definitely was like you get to have a lot of fun with this and like
Yeah,
really dig in and have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, Julia Roberts was the biggest actress in the world for like at least a good 10 years through the 90s and everything. So
she's a
she's obviously
legend. She's a legend. Yeah,
been a lot of
I cannot.
amazing things.
Mm, I love to watch her work and just like hope that one day I can be at least 0.1% as good as her. I don't know, she's genius. I don't know how she does it. Where did she go? Like, why, how can she do that? I don't understand. It's just natural, I guess. You cannot learn it because I went to a lot of classes here in Taiwan. I
Mhm.
went to the master degree to in the acting, and then I went to New York and studied there too
Mhm.
in HB studios. But still, I feel you cannot learn it. Still, that's my, you cannot do like, okay, you can learn everything like from your teachers and all your craft and stuff, but still, if you don't have it, you don't have it. That's what I think.
Well,
What do you
and
feel about it?
well, Julia Roberts definitely has an it factor to her. She's
Mhm.
insanely charismatic and
Yeah,
like all the little things, like even in Pretty Woman, just like when he slams the box down and just the laugh, it's so infectious and it's just like you can't teach that. That's
you cannot.
just you are that and you have that
Yeah,
kind of charisma. So
yeah,
obviously you could be an extremely talented actor and put in all the work and everything. And to be like a really big star like that, it's just like it's that it factor. There's just
yeah,
something about her. Now, Annie,
definitely.
what's a film that you feel like you could literally just watch every day?
I don't want to say everybody gonna hate me. Sex in the City, probably.
Okay.
I really like fashion though. It's a big
Mhm.
part of my life to like
Mhm.
dress up every day and dress other people up and stuff like that. Maybe I will change my job to being a stylist one day. I don't know. I really like fashion. So watching Sex in the City, plot is very, everyone can connect, everyone can
Mhm.
relate and stuff like that. But I like to watch it for the fashion. I think they spend a lot of money and a lot of budget goes to all these dresses and stuff, and I
Yeah.
love it. I love that every scene they have so many details. It's not just a beautiful dress; it's like so many little details, like the
Mhm.
hair bands and like earrings and everything. I love to watch it. So every day I'll just put it. It's very. I know what everyone gonna say, every line, so I don't need to think about it. I just watch it for the aesthetics.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
and if you have that kind of passion for fashion and stuff like that, and just being able to take that in and really appreciate it. So if that hits for you, that's awesome. Now,
Definitely, Devil Wears Prada and all these kind of movies. All
yeah,
I watch all the time. Yeah, it's just so easy to watch and it's so nice. And everything gonna work out in the end. You don't need to stress out about that. Yeah, and it's beautiful.
abs-
The beautiful movies.
absolutely. And I know costuming can go a long way in terms of like really
Hmm.
pulling you into a film. And there's been a lot of like Edith Head, legendary costume designers and stuff
Yeah,
like that. And sometimes you can just watch a movie and just be completely engrossed by like, wow, this looks absolutely gorgeous. And I know I've
absolutely. Yeah,
definitely watched movies where I'm just like, I want literally every single suit this character has
I
worn in this
know. That's
movie.
what how I watch Sex and the City. I was like, oh my god, me here, here. But also at the same time, I
Mhm,
noticed that the movies when they don't really have much wardrobes. Like for example, recently I was watching the Before Sunset, Sunset, After
mhm.
Sunset. You know that one
Yeah.
series, and
Mhm,
they don't change their clothes at all. Like three movies, they just have the same set of dressing, and it's like only like t-shirt and like some
mhm.
sundress on top. And I was like, this is so boring for me. I know the story. I know they have wonderful conversations and it's very
Yeah.
deep movie and stuff like this. But I just feel like it's not enough for me. I want to be. I need something more entertainment for my eyes, not just ears. It could
Mm,
be easily a podcast. I don't need to look at it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I was like,
Well,
why don't you just dress her a little bit nicely, or just do her hair or something? Like put her some, I don't know, nice necklace or something, so I have something to look at.
that's definitely an interesting perspective that I have certainly not really thought about watching
Mm,
those films. But yeah, the truth is they all take place in basically almost real
yeah,
time, or at least over a very short period. It's like it's not like especially when they first met. I think both of them were
yeah,
pretty poor. Don't have and it's just like, yep, it's just, we have the same clothes on and everything. But
yeah.
I know I even for my wedding, the tuxedo that I wore was based off of one of the tuxedos from Skyfall. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
really?
it's like I love watching James Bond movies. I'm like, I want literally every single outfit that he wears in these movies.
What did your wife wear?
Oh, it was a very beautiful dress. Uh she she splurged a little bit. And I remember she told me like she saw it in a window and she's like, "Yep, that's going to be the dress." And
Oh,
so she obviously still has it. She jokes like, "Well, I'm never going to fit in this again." But it was a very special moment, and obviously, uh, the dress is a big part of weddings and everything, and part of the
Definitely, yeah.
memory. So, but I guess my next question: what's a film that you connect with closely because it relates to another interest of yours?
I think that probably Notting Hill. That's why I like it so much because basically it's like the story of my life. It's the story about an actress and how
Mm,
she hang like she's dating some dissectors and they treat her not so good, and then she meet this simple guy and they just feel
mhm.
like it's definitely it's like my life. So every time I have a new boyfriend, I say him down. It's like you have to watch this movie. So
It's
I
like you,
spread this movie around the world. Yeah, because she explains when they're sitting around the table, right? And they're playing this game for the brownie. She explains exactly what's wrong about because everybody thinks that your life is perfect. Like you probably or anyone who is gonna look at my Instagram after this interview, they're gonna feel like, oh, this girl has a perfect life. She's like traveling, she's doing charity, she's dining well every day, she has so many friends. But it's not like that. You know what I mean? And same about
Mhm.
her. Maybe I'm not as huge as Julia Roberts in the movie, but Anna, what's her name? Anna. Her name was Anna, just like me.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, she's saying like, you cannot actually eat until you're full. You always need to like worry what people say about you. And every time you break up with someone, for everyone, it's just like entertainment. When you like
yeah.
heartbroken, this kind of stuff. That just gets very deep into me. So that's why I let my all my friends and boyfriends watch this movie because it's like she describes everything I want to explain them about my life. Because when you meet me in the real life, I'm just a normal, simple girl, right? But actually,
Yeah.
outside, I have this work and I have to play the part, right? So I
Mhm.
need to explain to them why we cannot hold hands on the street and why, I cannot eat the French fries with him at night and drink beer, this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And obviously that's a big thing. And, social media is interesting because
Yeah.
you don't, most people don't go out and just putting like all their worst moments out on social
Definitely.
media. It's
Yeah.
all the nice things. And so like being able to understand it's just like there's a completely different experience. And
Mm.
I imagine it's like every time you sit down, a significant other, just like, well, you're Hugh Grant. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm watching the movie.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this might be the same answer because definitely kind of answered that way, but what movie character do you feel like you connect with on a personal level?
Yeah, probably her.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's why seriously the movie was made for me. The first time
Mhm.
I saw it, I was like, oh my God, they made a movie about me. Even her behavior, even everything, every time like the when she met his family, every time I have a new boyfriend and I miss his family, they probably, especially if it's in Taiwan, they probably heard of me or know me or something. And the reaction is always the same. They'll be like, and they start to, tap each other and be like, oh, it's her. And I was like, I'm here, I can hear you. And they will be like, how can you date her? You're just normal. I know that guy. How can you know her? This kind of stuff.
It's just
And
like, I'm right here. You could just chat with me, get to know me, kind of
yeah,
thing.
something like that. Yeah, it's always very cute. But yeah, something like exactly in the movie. So I really feel this. Yeah, that's my movie. I wish they can make like remake about that, and I get to play the role. That would be really awesome. Maybe
Well,
we
we're
can
pitching
make it
it
in
now.
Taiwan.
So, pitching it
Yeah.
right now on the show. So, hopefully, somebody sees this and
That
it's
would
like, you
be
know
really
what?
awesome
It's a
to make
great
it like in
idea.
Taiwan. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
great idea. It's a great movie and it's been how long? Like 90, how long is it? 20, more than 30 years, I think.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it has an interesting story that you can obviously transplant into different
Yeah.
places too. So that makes a lot of sense. I'd go see it. I'd be in the theater, checking out your new movie. So now, what film do you love that you feel like would surprise people?
Surprise people. I really like from the recent movies, if you can call it recent, I really liked Parasite, the Korean
Okay.
movie.
Hmm.
It was really, I don't know if I can swear on your show, but it was really fucked up movie. I don't know
Yeah.
how else can I express myself. It is so disgusting to watch, but you cannot stop watching it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, but I actually liked it a lot. I was like, oh my God, someone who made this movie is really a genius. So all the Oscars they got is like, oh, they deserve it. Did you like
Yeah,
the movie?
I loved Parasite. I'm a huge Bong Joon-ho film fan,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing Snowpiercer, one of his
Yeah.
films back when that came out. I'm like, I need to see other films that this director's made. Watching
Mm,
Memories of Murder that he directed
mm,
in the early 2000s too. That's a great crime thriller about a couple of police trying to capture a
mm,
serial killer.
mm.
And watching Parasite, I could not have imagined where that
No,
movie was going. And
no.
you're just sitting in the theaters like, what's going on here?
I know, exactly. You just feel what's going on. And so many people didn't want to watch it, they don't have a patience to see what's after. So maybe like first 15 minutes, because it's disgusting. They have like all the cockroaches and the lighting, the colors are so not pleasant to watch. So
Yeah,
many people were leaving. But I was like, oh, I really like it. It's just so weird feeling. It's like you're doing something you don't want to do, but you keep doing it. You cannot stop, you know?
it's such an interesting perspective because you start off with this family that's like and
Mm,
like the literal bottom of society, walking down all these steps and getting down there, and the lengths that they'll go to try to provide for themselves, the
mm,
lies, the scam that they're pulling on this
yeah,
one family. And then halfway through the movie, you're just like, what? And it just
yeah,
completely goes sideways. And you're just like, this,
mm,
I, I love being surprised by films and like
yeah,
genuinely
true.
surprised, not where it's like, surprise twist. I'm like, yes, I know. I saw that one coming. You can't see that coming. Like you're watching
Yeah, that's true.
Parasite and you just watch the first half of the film and it's just like, no, I had no idea where this movie was going. And that's always a special thing. And so I was really happy that that got all the recognition that it did at the Oscars.
Yeah,
So,
it was awesome. Korean people are just like, killing it recently. Also, for
mhm.
the same reason, the movie which surprised you, I really like the series You with
Okay.
Japan
Yeah.
David. I loved it so much because I was like, they just have this kind of. They didn't show in the preview and the trailer that it's gonna be like that. So I was like, oh, it's going to be another rom-com because he's like Gossip Girl guy and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
just put it in, just have my dinner, eating there, and I was like, what? When he started to do all the stuff. I loved it. I'm not really a big fan of the third one. Third, I think the another one is coming soon. But the first two, I was like, oh my god. Oh, even three. The laugh was in the third one or the second one.
I think I think they've been through four seasons or series at
Four
this
seasons.
point.
So that one, two, three, I like, and the number four is like more or less.
I'm a little behind. I need to catch up on it, but
Come on, it's the best one. You have to watch it. It's really awesome. Yeah,
I am I distinctly remember I had a student worker because like I work at a college and
yeah,
she would come in every day like, "Oh my God, Shane, I'm watching the show You. This is crazy. You need to watch this show." And
yeah,
then I started watching it like this is nuts. And like that's the thing. He
yeah,
seems like in his own mind he's like the lead of a
yeah,
romantic film, and then it's just like
yeah,
he's kind of messed up. More than kind of messed up. He's definitely messed up. And all the
yeah.
things that he's doing. It definitely is a really crazy, engrossing kind of show.
I
So,
like it. It reminds me of my favorite book by James Chase, where the guy was they call it collectioner, where the guy was collecting the butterflies, and then he just liked to put them there and they don't move and stuff like that. So he's kind of this joy too. And he was like the story. He went to the same bakery every morning, and then he saw the girl lining up there, and the same stuff happened. He was like started to look at admire her hair and admire her like style and stuff like that. And slowly, after that, he kidnapped her, put her in his basement, but he prepared all the basement. So why I like this book because the author writes it from both sides, from the girl's perspective and from the guy's perspective. So from the guy's perspective, when you read it, you feel like you sympathize with him. You feel like he's not doing anything bad because he explains it. He was like, oh, he likes to paint, so I will just prepare some paint for her, like he's taking care of her. And from her perspective, she's like, oh my god, he's psycho, he kidnapped me, he put me in a
yeah.
basement, blah blah, like this. So the same. And this book is pretty old too. I like it. It's my first favorite book. I think first time I read it, I was like very little. I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12. I don't know why I had these kind of books, unsupervised child. But I was so mind blown. And with years, I like keep reading and reading it. I still have it. I read it in Russian. Somehow I got it in Russian. So I really love it. So You is basically the same story, but just expanded because he did it with with many different girls. So see, I like this kind of stuff. Means I need to go see a psychiatrist too.
Well,
Yeah.
it's definitely a whole probably two generations of people grow
Yeah.
at this point that are like obsessed with like serial
Mm.
killers and true crime and stuff like that. It's just like, well, world's crazy enough. Let's just lean into it. So
It's
I
not
get
even
definitely
about the
get that.
crime. It's not even about serial killers. I think it's more about, for me, it's all about psychology because the Joy,
Yeah.
he's explaining, he's not trying to hurt them, you know? So I just feel like, oh my God, someone really has this kind of mind that he's
Mhm.
doing some, like, obviously he was killing people, but he feels like, no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to hurt them. And I was like, I want to understand these kind of people. How do they think, you know? Yeah.
It is very interesting, and the human mind is definitely a complex place, and
Mm,
the perspective people can be coming
yeah.
from, and no matter how twisted it might be. But and my last question for you is, what do you love most about movies?
What do I like most about movies? Definitely that I can imagine myself in the movie. And
Okay.
also, I can find a lot of tricks for my job. I really
Mhm.
like to rewatch movies with the
Mhm.
actors who I love how they work, love their craft. And I feel that, I don't know, it's very interesting, but every time I watch a movie, I imagine that how would I play this part? Sometimes I'll start with like, oh, she did like this, she raised her eyebrow. Would I raise my eyebrow? And it's
Mhm.
like really, it's very annoying to watch movie with me because I'll probably stop like 100 times during the movie. Yeah, I cannot do it in those theaters. That's why I don't
Mhm.
go there. I watch at home. I do go sometimes to. I love movie theaters. It's like the, the whole mood with the popcorns
Mhm.
and the couples and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, mostly I can associate myself with the roles. That's what I like the most. And you just basically, why do they watch movies or read books? Because you want to escape the reality, right? You
Absolutely.
just, yeah,
Well, and I can appreciate that commitment to your growth as an actress and like being able to like break things down and want to take a deeper look at the performances
yeah,
that are going on screen. And certainly going to a theater is a special kind of experience. And I
yeah.
know some people haven't learned how to be back in a theater since COVID and everything, but sometimes it's just a whole different experience. I went to go see the first Omen last night, and it's a lot scarier when you're sitting in a dark theater, not sitting at home with all your lights on.
You like
And
scary movies?
uh, I watch everything. So I'll watch
Yeah,
anything and everything. Um, I have a love-hate relationship with horror movies because I'm a big baby and I get scared very easy. And
yeah,
but I can appreciate a great film doing great things. Generally it's not my genre to go to though. Like
yeah.
if I want to have some fun, I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm gonna throw on like this scary movie
I
and
know, right?
scare myself. So
Mm.
it's not my thing. But anyhow, I always like to wrap up this show is I like to let my guest ask me a question. So, surprise.
Ask you a question.
Yes. So,
Okay.
what would you like to ask the Wasteland Reviewer?
Okay, so I know you dedicate your life to the movies, and I always feel very interested in why why you choosing films. Like, why don't you choose any other work? It's really, of course, except for the obvious answer, like, okay, because you feel it's interesting to you.
Mhm.
But it's very special work to do, right? It's not like
Mhm.
being an engineer or a doctor or like actress, something very obvious. It's not so many people just have so much dedication. And if you ever felt bored of your work and want to change it or maybe do something else.
I think the interesting thing is so, like, I have a full-time job and a part-time job. I work at a college and I run a tutoring center and I teach. And I teach statistics and analytics and numbers and stuff like that. But I dedicate a lot of my time outside of work to movies. And I just remember being a kid and just being engrossed in like putting a movie on. Like growing up, I probably was more in love with books than I was with movies. I've read a lot of books over the course of like my childhood and
Mm,
everything. But at some point it kind of morphed into I love the visual aspects of film where it's like
mm,
and film is such an interesting art because there's so many layers to it. Because you could have a book that you're reading, and obviously you have to put a lot of work in for yourself,
mm,
imagining and coming it to life. And you can look at a painting and look at it and see the meaning and making meaning from it.
yeah,
Film, you watch it, you hear it, you experience it, it can move you. and there's just a lot of different layers to what's going on. And I feel like it's one of the most easily accessible pieces of art because you are
Yeah,
literally seeing it and you can be a
yeah,
part of it. And no matter how crazy and strange the world is that's in it, it's real to you. You are
yeah,
seeing it in front of you. And it was something that really clicked with me when I think it was when I went to college was when I like really became like more than just like I like watching movies for fun and more of like I love film and really understanding it and like I research things. I literally bought my brother took a film class in college because he knew that I'd want to help him. My brother knows how to motivate people. And bought his textbook because I wanted it. So
yeah,
I kept it and like I've read film textbooks and stuff like that, and a lot of books on filmmaking and stuff like that. It's the kind of thing where it's like I found a passion and it motivates me and I love talking about film and the way that it can make you feel and just the storytelling of all of it. So I hope that answered your question. But definitely it's at some point it just clicked with me and I'm like, this is something that I really want to invest my time doing and talking about. So and also, learning about other people's love for movies too.
yeah. Any recommendation for me recently? I have a pen. Came prepared. There's
Uh-huh.
three recommendations for me to watch tonight on a Friday night because I don't have a boyfriend anymore yet. Okay, three
Oh,
recommendations from Shane.
trying to think based off of what we just talked about. Have you I know there's not a ton of like new great romantic comedies, but did you see Ticket to Paradise with
Ticket to Paradise.
Julia Roberts and George Clooney? That one I enjoyed, and it was nice seeing like George Clooney and Julia Roberts being two big movie stars in a romantic comedy.
Mhm.
I enjoyed Anyone But You that came out over the past couple of months with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. I didn't expect to like it. Um, and one romantic comedy that I really loved from last year was called Rye Lane, Rye Lane. And I know it came out here in the States on Hulu. Not sure where it is, but like it's just about these two people that are both going through like a breakup in their own and then build this connection with each other. And it was shot in a very interesting way, like to the point of like, hey, somebody actually put in a lot of effort to make this like an interesting film to watch. On top
Yeah.
of it had like a nice romance and
I
everything.
will.
So hopefully you enjoy at least one of them.
I
So,
will. I will let you know. Thank you so much.
but
Because I think
anything
I'm running of the suggestions on the on the what's his name, Netflix.
it's just
I
like,
can
well,
do exam by Netflix. I know everything in Netflix.
there
Just
you
watch
go.
it on.
But
Yeah.
Annie, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank
chatting movies
you
with
so
me.
much. It was lovely. It's like so
Absolutely.
fast. I can't even believe we talk for so long and it's just like time flies. Thank you so much. You're a very
Well,
nice person to talk to.
oh, well, and that's the same for you as well. This is a very nice
Thank
time.
you.
I'm glad that we got a chance to reconnect after, like 4 years. But I'll make sure to put your Instagram and your charity in the description for the video and maybe have you come back on sometime. But Annie, thanks again for
Yeah, let's
coming
hope
on and
I'm gonna
talking
have a
movies with me.
movie soon. So we're gonna have the interview
Awesome.
again. Let's hope for that. Yeah. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
I'd be more than happy to have you come on and talk about your new film.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.